Hey guys, today we're going to do the unboxing and overview of a very high-end Japanese headphone. So this is the Audio-Technica AWKT. It is the flagship closed-back headphone from Audio-Technica. It retails for $1,900 US. I know that's a lot of money, but I actually managed to snag this headphone for a very good deal, a very good price. It's actually from the same guys who sold me the HiFiMan HE1000 that I did a review on a few weeks ago. So yeah. I picked this up for only $750 US. I know, it's unbelievable. I had to get a friend to actually help me out with this deal because it is a crazy deal. And when I saw this deal, you know, I swear, like for me, I try so many headphones. I try not to spend too much money to buy more, but when I saw this deal, I just couldn't resist. I mean, this is just, I never thought I'd be able to have my hands on one of these headphones because these are not very common to find up here in Canada. With a lot of these high-end Japanese headphones, like there's really not a lot of places to try them. Compare this to the D9200. I do like the wood of this one better. This is using the Kokutan wood, which is a Japanese ebony that's, I think it's specific to Japan. It's a species of ebony that's specific to Japan, which is really cool. I just like the color of this wood and the fact that it retails for higher than the D9200. But yeah, we're gonna do the unboxing here because this is a really big box that they come in. Obviously, it's made in Japan. Even my my lower end Audio-Technica AP2000 Ti's, which are still kind of expensive, but they're lower end than this. That's also made in Japan as well. So of course these ones will be made in Japan. Really like the presentation of the box. I mean, it shows you the Kokutan wood right here, and it basically just looks like it's, you know, high quality Japanese craftsmanship, which is really what this is about. So when you look at Japanese wooden headphones, a lot of them is just to show you about the craftsmanship, which is really what I love about Japanese products in general. They love to show you the craftsmanship of the product. So here we go. Okay, so we get this really high quality wooden box. So there's no carrying case for these headphones, but they do come in a nice wooden box like you would get for like a luxury watch or something. So that's nice. And see what else we get. I think that's it. This is just a big box just for this wooden box. Okay, so yeah, get this nice wooden presentation box here. Let's zoom in a bit here. Okay, yeah, this is a really nice wooden presentation box. Again, you don't get a carrying case with this headphone, but it is just something you would display like you would a luxury watch or something like that. Just something of very high craftsmanship. So I like the fact that they give you this nice wooden box. It just screams the fact that this is not just a consumer accessory. This is a work of art. Okay, and you unbox it, and wow, does it look nice. So these headphones, I mean, the presentation is just amazing. HiFiMan should take notes, okay? Because HiFiMan, their new stealth boxes and stuff are just this plain cardboard box. This is how you should present a high-end headphone, man. This looks great. So this is what you get here. Audio-Technica information here. You get the user manual. These are dynamic headphones, and these are, by the way, out of all the headphones I own, this is the most expensive pair I have in terms of the MSRP, and tied for the HiFiMan, with the HiFiMan HE1000 V2s as the most expensive I actually spent. But yeah, definitely the highest retail price because these retail for $1,900 US. That's higher than the HE1000s. And they're dynamic headphones, not planar magnetic, which just proves the fact that dynamic headphones, I mean, people think of them as, you know, like why don't you get planar magnetic, electrostatic headphones and stuff. Dynamic headphones are used in lower end headphones, mid-tier headphones, and high-end headphones, okay guys? It's just a tried and true proven technology. So don't think of dynamic headphones as being lower than planar magnetics. In fact, there's a lot of high-end headphones like this one still using dynamic drivers. And this is just, yeah, the user manual here. But they're headphones, so they're, I mean, what is there to really figure out, right? It's not a wireless headphone or anything like that. Don't need to figure out any Bluetooth settings or anything. They're wired. Comes with this accessory bag. Inside the accessory bag, we get a set of, this is a set of bounced cables. So you get a 4-pin XLR connector. So this is a bounce connector, which, by the way, you really do need to have. You do need to have these set of cables if you want to, you know, obviously supply more power to the Audio-Technicas, but also because it's hard to find aftermarket cables for Audio-Technica since they use these proprietary A2DC connectors. So because Audio-Technica uses their own connectors, it's generally very expensive or hard to find third-party aftermarket cables. So I'm really glad that Audio-Technica included these cables with this headphone. All right, and then of course they have the normal set of single-ended, which is a 6.35 millimeter, generally used for more higher-end headphones and professional headphones because they assume you're going to be using it with a desktop amplifier. But of course, you can always use a converter if you're using like a phone, like a USB dongle or a DAP. I'm probably just going to use my DAP. And I don't think these headphones should be hard to drive. I don't think Audio-Technica headphones generally are fairly easy to drive. So these ones should be okay to use with my DAP. All right, now let's look at the headphones itself. And what you see for these headphones is how striking they look. The craftsmanship of the wood cups, these are the Japanese kokutan, Japanese ebony basically. And you see the wood just looks gorgeous. It's this dark wood, and honestly this was the main reason I got these over the Denon D9200s. Remember, I was choosing between the D9200s and the AWKTs, which that guy was selling me for the same price. And I chose this one mainly because of the appearance, because I didn't know about the sound quality of either of them. So just based off of appearance alone, the Denon D9200s has that nice Japanese bamboo, but for me, I prefer the darker looking kokutans. I mean, these are just really, really beautiful looking wood, right? So. And plus, I already have the Denon D7200s, which are a nice American walnut. But these, definitely, probably the best headphones that I own in terms of the appearance. So yeah, definitely the best looking Japanese headphone that I own. Very, very beautiful looking. These are definitely the most beautiful looking headphones that I own. You can just easily see how much attention was put into it. And I just love that Japanese focus so much on the craftsmanship of their products. Whether you look at the high-end Sony 1ZRs, or you look at the Denon D9200s with the Japanese bamboo, or the Fostex TH900s with that Urishi lacquer. Yeah, all of these high-end Japanese headphones love to show off their craftsmanship, and Audio-Technica is no exception. The only American maker that I know that does like something like this is ZMF, and unfortunately never really had much chance to check out ZMF headphones, but they're probably the only Western company I know of that has this type of craftsmanship, or handmade craftsmanship for their headphones, right? Because when you think of the high-end Western headphone companies like Sennheiser or Focal, they tend to be more technical looking. So yeah, there's not as much of this you know, using wood and stuff like that, some kind of artisanship quality. And that's what you get with high-end Japanese headphones like this. So very nice. Of course, it uses real leather. Yeah, this leather is pretty soft. I wonder if it's sheepskin leather, I think. It's very, very soft on the ear cups. The band is, yeah, the band's also interesting, also using real leather. It's this double, yeah, it's got the double supports here. Like some Audio-Technica's designs have this. Also, some of Audio-Technica's designs have that wing as well, but this one doesn't have it. I always thought that the wing structure adds the comfort, but I guess for their high-end stuff, they don't really use it. They have it on their lower-end stuff, like the R70X, though. So, yeah, so you have adjustable stainless steel right here. This is adjustable headbands here using the stainless steel supports. Very nice. You can tell which one is left or right because they will just, let's see, it will show, oh yeah, here it shows on the outside here, left or right. Okay, easy to tell there. You can tell it's made in Japan. There's a little, yeah, the little marker there, made in Japan, and should be able to see, let's see, is there no serial number on this one? On my AP2000 Ti's there's actually a stamped serial number, but doesn't seem to be on this, which would be nice because that will just give you the you know, just the sense that it's even more like more of a limited handmade thing. But don't see any serial numbers, but it does of course say made in Japan because it is. And then it has the proprietary A2DC connectors, which, like I said, are usually going to be harder to find aftermarket, so it's nice that Audio-Technica gives you the balanced cables in case you want to use balanced. but it's a 4-pin XLR, so if you're using a 4.4 millimeter connector, you'll have to use an adapter for that. So I'll have to use an adapter because my DAP doesn't have a 4-pin XLR, obviously. This is mostly a connector for desktop amps. So yeah, can't wait to try these out. I really wonder what the sound quality is like, because for Audio-Technica's tunings, they don't have a house sound. Unlike a lot of other headphone makers, like for focals, I can generalize focals and say that they mostly tend to be fairly neutral and balanced with their tuning. And then with Audis, they have a house sound that usually tends to be on the warm side. The grottos, they have a house sound. They tend to be on the bright side. Same with Bayer Dynamics, they tend to be on the bright side. Dan Clark's tend to be more balanced. Like Sennheiser also, I think the 600, 800 series are definitely more balanced. So for a lot of these other headphone companies, generally I can infer what type of sound signature that they have just based on a lot of their products. But for Audio-Technica, this is not the case, because while I've tried a lot of Audio-Technica headphones before, they all sound very different from each other. Their tunings are all quite different. Like the R70X, the M50X, the WP900s I've tried, and the AP2000 Ti's that I own right now, they all sound very different from each other, as well as the AWAS, which is the model one tier below this one is the AWAS, which unfortunately I didn't get to try either, but heard that's also quite a different tuning as well. So all of Audio-Technica's headphones have a different sound signature, so it's hard to infer what they might sound like. But it also makes it pretty exciting for me to try these out. I haven't tried these out before. This was kind of a blind purchase, just based on the craftsmanship and appearance of this headphone, as well as the retail price and the discount that I got it for. Yeah, so I'm very excited to test out these headphones, because I have no idea what they're going to sound like. Since Audio-Technica doesn't have any house sound, I can't infer any kind of sound signature from their previous headphones. They're all very different. So yeah, they have a lot of variance between their tunings. I guess you can see their 53 millimeter drivers here. Yep. But yeah, they use 53 millimeter drivers a lot in their other headphones too. Yeah, I'm really excited to test these out. I can say that just from the appearance and the presentation of the box and everything, and the appearance of these headphones already, it looks like a work of art. Something to to just put on display, maybe pass it down as a type of heirloom, to your children or something like that. This is not just a consumer piece of equipment, but it is indeed a work of art from Japanese craftsmen. So you can see that kind of craftsmanship on display here. So anyways, guys, I'm going to test it out, and I'm going to compare it to some of my other headphones. I think it would be prudent to compare it, improper actually, to compare it with my Denon D9200, since that's also a Japanese wooden closed back headphone, as well as the Fostex TH610, another Japanese wooden closed back. And my current Audio-Technicas, which are the AP2000 Ti's, which are 2 tiers below. So the AWAS is the first tier below this one, and then the level below that one is the AP2000 Ti's. Yeah, so Audio-Technica has a lot of different headphones in their range. So yeah, those are the high-end ones. I would consider the ones over $1,000 are the AP2000 Ti's, which I have, and then the AWAS, and then the AWKTs, which are these ones. I would also like to try out the Audio-Technica ADX5000s, which are their flagship open back headphones. But yeah, those are also quite expensive, and unfortunately there's not many places I can find a high-end Japanese headphone to try out, because they're just not as popular in Western countries as Western brands are. So yeah, around here, you often see like high-end Focals or Dan Clark's, Sennheisers, Audis. But yeah, for high-end like Audio-Technica or Denons, like Fostex, stuff like that, it's generally hard to find around here. Or that Yamaha, right? I think there's the Yamaha like 5000s, I think. Those are another ones I want to try out. The Final Audio D8000s. Like these high-end Japanese headphones are generally pretty hard to find around here for testing. So yeah, unfortunately didn't get to try those out. Would be nice though, but I already have the HiFiMan HE1000 V2s, which are already high-end open backs. So I really wanted to find a nice high-end closed back headphone, and yeah, part of the reason I was looking at this. Alright, so a little bit of breaking news here. Right after I did the unboxing for the Audio-Technica AWKTs, I saw a pair of Denon D9200s online at a good price. So I picked this up for $800 US. That's half of the MSRP of $1,600 US. And I've always wanted to compare this headphone with the Audio-Technica AWKTs, since they're both the closed back flagship Japanese headphones, and they both have this nice wooden ear cup design going on. So yeah, I figured, you know, might as well pick this up, do a comparison, and see, you know, how it compares and which one's better. So yeah, the Denon D9200. Denon, of course, is a historic Japanese company. They're known for, actually, I think they might be one of the earliest Japanese audio companies. They're not only known for headphones, I think they're actually probably more well known for their receivers. So if people know Denon in America or in the Western markets, it's most likely because of their receivers. They also make amplifiers, they make some speakers as well, turntables, and phono cartridges. But yes, they also make headphones and high-end headphones. So this is their top of the line D9200 model. So Denon's interesting because they actually specialize in closed back headphones. They don't make any open back headphones. And yeah, this one is completely handcrafted in Japan, just like the Audio-Technicas, except this is the only Denon headphone, I believe, that's actually entirely made in Japan. I also have the Denon D7200s, which is the one, the headphone that's one tier below this model. This cost, MSRP for this one's $1,000, but only the drivers are made in Japan for this one. I believe it's assembled, well, actually I'm not sure where it's assembled, but it's not assembled in Japan. This one actually is assembled in Japan in addition to the drivers. So yeah, would be pretty interested to compare this with the Audio-Technica AWKT, since they're both very high-end Japanese closed back headphones, and they both have this nice wooden ear cup design going on. So yeah, let's take a look here. All right, pretty excited for this. That's what they have on the back here. Just a lot of images of the craftsmanship and handwork that goes into making these in the Denon factory in Japan. Also, the ear cups here are made of Japanese bamboo. So this is in contrast to the Audio-Technica AWKTs, which are made with kokukan, or kokukan, I believe. That's a Japanese ebony wood. Yeah. Let me know if I got that one wrong. It's kotukan or kokutan. But yeah, that's it's a nice dark wood, Japanese ebony wood. But this one is a lighter wood, of course, because it's bamboo, Japanese bamboo to be precise. So I'm not sure exactly how the different wood affects the acoustic properties, but I did notice a lot of Japanese headphones tend to use wood in their design, especially in their closed back designs, right? Because closed backs, you have more space on the ear cups to put something, and Japanese usually go with wood. Maybe because it expresses traditional craftsmanship more. So yeah, Denon since 1910. Yeah, the company was founded pretty early. So yeah, D9200 here. So what you get here is pretty nice packaging and presentation, but not quite as nice as the AWKTs. Of course, the AWKTs come in this nice wooden box right here, so that's a different level. So it's a nice packaging, just not up to the presentation of the AWKTs. Okay, so here's what you get inside of the box here. You get this handcrafted in Japan pamphlet, D9200. Like I said, these are the only headphones Denon makes that are completely made in Japan. Audio-Technica has quite a few, actually. Even my lower-end Audio-Technica AP2000 Ti's are made in Japan. But for Denon, yeah, only this one, the D9200s, are completely made in Japan. Okay, so you got bamboo grown in the warm climate of southern Japan. It's used by craftsmen. So again, Japanese love to accentuate the craftsmanship of their products. For exquisite bamboo housings. Yep. Shirakawa Audio Works. Skilled hands painfully assemble each set. You can actually watch a video of them assembling these headphones on YouTube online. It's really fascinating. And yeah, I love all these documentaries and videos online, YouTube videos about Japanese craftsmen doing their work. They just seem so passionate about what they do. Yeah, like I watched like this Sony video where this guy was talking about their high-end speakers and everything, and he just sounded so passionate about it. They go into so much detail about what they do. Yeah, so you know, I have huge respect for Japanese people because yeah, they're just so passionate about their work, and they're so detailed and precise, and they care about the process a lot, and materials and everything, and engineering of their work. Alright, comes with two sets of cables here. So one of them is a 6.35 1/4 inch connector. Pretty premium looking actually. It's actually branded Denon, and it's a silver coat right here. Pretty premium looking cables. So Denon headphones, by the way, they use standard 3.5mm jack connections. So this is the same as Focal and Hi-Fi Man. So it's pretty easy to find aftermarket replacement cables for Denon, which is nice. Unlike Audio-Technica, which uses like their own proprietary A2DC connectors. So anyways, I like to have cables that are easily replaced, so I like the Denons better. Although Audio-Technica has their reasons for using that connector, yeah. But whatever. They have another cable here that terminates in a 3.5 millimeter. So you can use this with your portable devices, and that's what I'll use for my DAC. Okay. It also comes with a cleaning cloth here, as well as just some sort of quick start guide, I think. I believe it could be. Safety instructions, we don't care about that too much for headphones. Nobody's ever been killed by trying a headphone, right? So, yeah, this is what's inside. You connect it to your headphone amplifier. You obviously know how to listen to headphones and adjust them. Specs should be pretty easy to drive. 24 ohms. So yeah, none of the Japanese headphones I've tried have ever been hard to drive. Like all the Audio-Technicas, all the Denons, Fostex, they've all been pretty easy to drive. And I have to note that there are some other high-end Japanese headphones I wanted to try. So these are two of the really high-end Japanese headphones, the D9200s and the AWKTs, but there's also the Yamaha, was it S5000s, Y5000s or something. Anyways, Yamaha has a really high-end headphone as well, like $5,000 headphones. Open back, would love to try those at some point. Final Audio has the D8000 Pros, which I've tried before, which are pretty nice headphones. And also the Sony Z1Rs, which I haven't tried those yet. So yeah, those are some other high-end Japanese headphones there. Okay, so let's look at the headphones themselves. I think that's all that in the box. So it does not come with any carrying case or actually, yeah, the box itself is nice, but it's like not as nice as the Audio-Technica's wooden box, of course. Right, you guys have seen that. The wooden box for the Audio-Technica is of course a lot better looking. So yeah, I would have liked it if either the box was better looking or if they gave you a nice carrying case or something like that. Because yeah, if they don't give you a carrying case, I at least want to have a nice little display box, but this is just okay. It's not up to the level of a $1,600 MSRP headphone. You know, the AWKTs actually give you a nice display box, even though they don't give you a carrying case, but Denon doesn't give you a carrying case or a really nice display box. It's nice looking, but it's not up to that level of the AWKTs. Anyways, I'm just kind of nitpicking about that because this headphone retails for so much money, right? Like if you compare, like this is a $1,900 headphone, and then the Denons are $1,600 headphone. They're, you know, Denon is cheaper, but not by much. I mean, so yeah, I'm still expecting something good for the box. Anyways, this is Japanese bamboo here on the wood cups. Really nice. It's got a nice texture to it. This is a very different than texture of the Kokutan ear cups here on the Audio-Technicas. These feel very smooth. So yeah, it feels very smooth. There's no roughness or anything in the texture whatsoever. It looks very beautiful, but it's also so polished that it looks really smooth. Whereas the D9200s here, you feel the texture of the wood here when you put your hands on it. It's not smooth. But you know, that's fine too. I actually might like this better because it makes me feel like, oh, it did come from like a real tree, you know, like a real piece of bamboo or bamboo tree. Whereas this one, yeah, I mean, it looks like it came from a real tree, but you can't really feel it, right, because it's so smooth. So anyways, that's a nitpick, but I do like the texture of these Japanese bamboo ear cups. I like the color of the Kokutan wood better, though. This is a darker color. It's really beautiful and nice. Yeah, the bamboo looks nice too, but I just prefer the darker color here. Just it doesn't have the texture of the bamboo here. Yeah, other than that, the ear cups are pretty much the same as Denon's lower end headphones as well. They all use pretty nice leather ear cups here. Oh, okay, so these are also replaceable. Apparently they easily fall out as well. So these are their free edge drivers. So these ones are a little bit differently tuned compared to the D7200s, which I have. So yeah, I'll have to test it. So just for comparison, these are my D7200s, the model one step lower than this one. This one has American walnut as the wood ear cups here. Otherwise, pretty similar construction. They both have pretty similar construction. They both have this quilted leather headband. So D9200 has that as well. So it's pretty premium feeling, pretty nice. It's something you might find on a luxury car, actually. These premium luxury, yeah, these are the quilted leather, or stitched leather, I should say. Yeah, stitched quilted leather. So yeah, really nice looking headphones, left and right. You can see on the hinges, that's how you determine, yeah. And then just the build quality is really nice, right? This is all made of solid metal or aluminum or something. Anyways, very solid feeling, really nice build quality. Extends out like this. They can fold not completely flat. This is their range of movement, so they can't really fold completely flat. But they are really nicely built. Yeah, personally, I can't tell too much of a difference between the build quality of the 7200s and the 9200s, even though the 9200s are supposedly better because it's completely assembled in Japan. This one is assembled, I'm assuming, in another part of Asia. The drivers are Japanese made, but it's assembled in a different part of Asia. These ones are actually completely assembled in Japan, but I mean, they're both high quality. From an appearance standpoint, the D7200s are really nice as well. They're really nicely built. So, and of course the 9200s are as well. I can't tell an immediate difference in the build quality, even though this one's completely made in Japan. But yeah, and it uses the 3.5 millimeter connectors down there. So, anyways, from a size standpoint, oh man, these ear cups keep falling off. I mean, it's nice to be able to change your ear cups easily, but this falls off almost too easily, I feel. Yeah, that's an issue I've had with the other ones too. Like the D7200s as well, the ear cups fall off like a little bit too easily. Anyways, yeah, you can see there is a driver difference, the size difference between the Audio-Technica AWKTs and the Denon D9200s. Yeah, these ones have bigger drivers. Now, does that result in better sound quality? I'm not sure. I'll have to test both of these out. So, yeah, guys, stay tuned. We're going to test out the two flagship Japanese closed-back wooden headphones. Yeah, the Audio-Technica AWKTs and the Denon D9200s. Initially, I was just going to do a review and test on this one, but then I managed to find a D9200 at a good price, and I figured, why not? Let's put it into this comparison video. So, yeah, guys, stay tuned. I'm gonna try out these two, and then compare it with my Denon D9200s and my Fostex TH610s. Since they're both also wooden Japanese closed-back headphones as well, that's makes sense to compare them. So yeah, stay tuned, guys. I'm going to compare these two, and then I'm also going to compare it against the Audio-Technica AP2000 Ti's, since that's the lower-end model of this, the Denon D7200, since that's the lower-end model of this, and also throw in the Fostex TH610s as well, since that's another closed-back wooden Japanese headphone. I think it makes sense. So yeah, stay tuned, guys. I'm going to compare all these headphones. Yeah, test out these two, compare these two, and then give you my thoughts on all these different Japanese headphones. Alright, so now I have a bunch of high-end Japanese headphones with me right now. So yeah, this one is the most expensive one out of this whole collection. It is the Audio-Technica AWKTs that we just unboxed. I think out of all the headphones here, these are definitely the most beautiful looking to me, because look at these ear cups, right? It's just amazing. This beautiful Japanese ebony kokutan wood. Yes, amazing looking headphone. So yeah, I'm gonna check it out. Is it worth the price? $1,900 MSRP. I mean, I picked this up for a good price, but yeah, I don't know. That MSRP seems pretty excessive. But yeah, Audio-Technica's flagship closed-back headphones. Of course, all made in Japan. Let's see. Oh, this is left. Okay. Put on. It looks like this. I'll be using my Hybe RS6 DAC, which is a pretty good DAC inside of it. It's in custom R2R DAC. So, alright. Now this one I have to use a adapter because this is a 6.35 millimeter 1/4 inch jack terminator, so I have to use an adapter to 3.5. And I know it comes with a balanced cable too, but unfortunately it's a 4-pin balanced cable, and obviously my DAP doesn't accept 4-pin. So, okay. First I have to mention this headphone is not that comfortable. It might actually be one of the more uncomfortable headphones I've owned before, and it's really surprising because this is an Audio-Technica, and Audio-Technicas are usually well known for making comfortable headphones. So I'm a bit surprised that their flagship closed-back headphone is not that comfortable. Like, what's not comfortable about it is just that these ear cups are quite big, but they're also shallow, and also because they're so big and shallow, they kind of just like sit right on top of your ears like this. So it's almost like the feeling of having an on-ear. Yeah, I'd say it's like the feeling of having an on-ear because it's just shallow and the cups are really big. And also this headband right here, like it doesn't use their wing system that they use on their cheaper headphones like the R70X. So I'm not sure why they made their flagship headphone more uncomfortable than their lower end headphones. It doesn't make sense to me. So yeah, anyways, that's one thing I have to say. This is definitely not that comfortable of a headphone. I mean, it's not as uncomfortable as an Audi's LCD2 or a Grado or anything, but still, it's definitely on the more uncomfortable side, especially if you compare it to Audio-Technica's other headphones. So a little bit disappointed about that. Let's check the sound quality, the most important thing. So, Okay, let's go over what I like and don't like about the sound of these headphones. So, unfortunately, I cannot say that this headphone is worth the MSRP price. I mean, I definitely paid below MSRP. I paid $750, which is a huge steal for a headphone of this caliber. But yeah, MSRP of $1,900, that's way too much. It's overpriced. I bet it's maybe because of the craftsmanship of this wood here. Maybe that's what's driving up the price, and the fact that it's made in Japan. Although I cannot say every other part of the headphones necessarily like really high build quality. I mean, it's solid, but it's not like the. In fact, the Denons I think have better build quality than these AWKTs. So, yeah, I think it's maybe because the wood is that why it's so expensive. But the sound quality, I mean, maybe I can compete with $1,000 headphones, but not $2,000 headphones, because what I hear from this is it's got a nice detailed mid-range, but it's focused on the upper mid-range. So the upper mid-range and a bit of the highs as well, like it's more focused on that. The lower end, the bass in the lower mid-range is not very emphasized and not focused because you don't hear too much of it. So it's not like a very balanced headphone actually. So it's definitely got a pushed up upper mid-range, and the highs are a bit pushed up as well. But the lower mid-range and the bass, it's just not there. It's not there in the quantity that I think most people would like. It's a bit recessed actually. So yeah, and the detail is there, but I wouldn't say it's the most detailed headphones. Like compared to something like my HiFiMan HE1000s, these are just more detailed, more resolving, bigger soundstage, etc. Yeah, the AWKTs cannot compete with that. Out of the headphones here, I haven't tried the D9200s yet, but out of the headphones here, definitely I think the Fostex actually might have even a bit more detail than the AWKTs. But I'm gonna check out the Fostex again, just to make sure. But definitely disappointing. For $1,900, this is the most expensive headphone that I have MSRP wise. I would expect to be, I would expect better sound quality, honestly. Like the upper mid-range and the highs are definitely very well detailed, sure. The lower mid-range is there, but yeah, the bass and everything is, I just want the bass to at least, kind of be there a little bit more prominently, but it's just kind of recessed on here. So yeah, unfortunately, and I cannot say that the detail is as great as some of my other headphones, which are actually cheaper than this. So, I don't know, kind of disappointing for the price. I like the appearance of it, right? These Kokutan wood cups, really nice, beautiful appearance. But the comfort level is not there. It's not that comfortable, especially like compared to other Audio-Technica headphones. These are not that comfortable. Yeah, the drivers are really big, so it sits like, yeah, it just kind of like sits on your ears like that because the drivers are so big. So yeah, it's not the most comfortable headphone. The detail is good, but it's not up to the level I would expect for a $2,000 headphone. It's a bit too forward on the upper mids. In fact, I think you might have to burn this in for a bit before you tame down the upper mids, because initially they sound kind of harsh to me. So yeah, unfortunately, if you can get this under $1,000 like me, and I got a really good deal on it, then sure, it can probably compete with other $1,000 headphones, but not for the price of $1,900. It does not compete with headphones at that price range. Nah, for sure. So, a bit disappointing for Audio-Technica. I was expecting something better for this price. But yeah, really beautiful looking headphones, though. That's the best thing I can say about it. I really like the wood cups. That's really beautiful, but that's about the best thing I can say about it. And the upper mid-range detail is there, but yeah, everything else is just kind of disappointing and lackluster for that price. Okay, I'm just gonna make sure. I'm gonna have my Fostex TH610s here, and I think these have more detail than the AWKTs, and these are just $700 MSRP. These are not Fostex's flagships even. Their flagships are the TH900s and the TH910s. But yeah, like I'm pretty sure these have more detail than the AWKTs. All right, let's check that. Yeah, so the Fostex TH610s, I think overall have better they have better mid detail than the AWKTs, even though these are much cheaper. The AWKTs, the only area it can really compete in is the upper mids. The upper mids have good detail in the AWKTs. The highs are nice too. So I think the highs might actually be better than the Fostex because the Fostex TH610s, the highs are a bit sibilant. I think that needs to be toned down a bit. So these are kind of sibilant headphones, but overall the mids, like everything upper mid and lower mids have more body and they sound more detailed than the, yeah, these are the $1,900 AWKTs, but I prefer the mid detail on the Fostex TH610s, which is just $700. Bass wise, I think the bass here is a little bit more prominent as well, though not too much. These are like still relatively flat headphones. They're a little bit mid forward, but overall, you know, not too like they're not V-shaped or anything like that, so they don't push up the bass too much. But at least I can think the bass extension is a bit better on this. The AWKTs don't really have much bass extension, so you don't really hear too much of that. The bass is probably the most disappointing thing about the AWKTs. Yeah, TH610s at least you can hear the bass. But yeah, I think overall the mid detail on the Fostex TH610s are better. The AWKTs only can compete in the upper mid range. In the highs, I think the AWKTs have better highs, but that's only because the TH610's highs are a bit sibilant. If it was not for the sibilance, then the highs here are pretty good as well. So yeah, I mean, you got to consider the fact that this is $700 and this is $1,900, right? So, I mean, the price difference here and the fact that the Fostex overall has better mid detail. That's something to consider. I'm also going to compare it to my Audio-Technica AP2000 Ti's. These are retail for $1,250. They're 2 levels below this one. This one has, the level directly below this one is the AWAS, which I don't have. I haven't tried that one before. But yeah, these are the AP2000 Ti's. And Audio-Technica has a lot of headphones, so I can't try every one. So there's the AWAS, but this is the one below the AWAS, which is the AP2000 Ti's. And these ones are very dynamic sounding. So, okay, so yeah, these headphones, which I've done a video review on these ones already. I would take the highs of this one over the AWKTs because the AP2000 Ti's are very treble heavy. So they're a treble forward headphone, whereas the AWKTs are upper mid forward. So the upper mids, of course, the AWKTs win, but then just the highs and the treble extension, the AP2000s win on that. Overall, I think the mids, the AWKT has better mids and they're more detailed. Bass-wise, this actually has more noticeable bass than the AWKTs. So that's the thing. It's not even like it's not even that the AWKTs are overall better. They're not, which is funny because these are like two levels higher than this one. Just the mid-range, right? The upper mid-range, the lower mid-range, sure, I would take the mid detail of the AWKTs over the AP2000 Ti's. But the lows and the highs, I would take the AP2000 Ti's. These are more dynamic sounding headphones. So the AP2000 Ti's is overall more lively, more dynamic sounding. That's not to say the AWKTs are not dynamic. These are also dynamic headphones. They're not like a neutral, balanced headphone or anything. But it's just that this one sounds more lively. Because it has more treble extension, it also has more bass extension. So yeah, it just sounds like a more lively headphone. This one has more detailed mids, but that's the only thing it has over the AP2000 Ti's. Like it doesn't even have more soundstage or anything. So yeah, that's, you know, basically you're paying, there's like a $700 difference between these two, and really just you're paying for a really beautiful looking wood cups and detailed mids over this. But then it doesn't have the highs or lows of the AP2000 Ti's either. So yeah, I don't know. Again, it's not a very good value proposition for Audio-Technica for the AWKTs. If you don't, you know, if you're not significantly better than your lower end headphones in most of the ways, right? It's only really the mid detail in the upper mids especially that the AWKTs. I wouldn't even say it's the lower mids because this one's so focused on the upper mid range, like with female vocals and stuff like that. This one's very forward on the upper mids especially. So it's not even the entire mid range that it has, you know, more prominence or detail in. So yeah, that's the thing. Like these ones are much cheaper. Still pretty expensive, right? They're still over $1,000 bucks. But these are probably the ones you would want to listen to if you have this like pop music, electronic music, or dance music, something like that, the AP2000 Ti's are really good because it has really good treble extension, really nice detailed highs, a lot of clarity, probably the most clarity out of any headphone that I have right now, and it has better bass extension than the AWKTs. This one, the bass is really disappointing. The highs, I cannot say it's better than the AP2000 Ti, it's just it has a more detailed mid-range, that's it. But even in the mid-range, it's really only the upper mids that you really hear the difference. Okay, so that's unfortunate. The Audio-Technica AWKTs, I really wanted it to be good because these are the most expensive headphones that I have here at MSRP. So it is definitely disappointing when it does not beat my Fostex TH610s or my AP2000 Ti's in most categories. It really only beats them when it comes to the mid-range and really only the upper mid-range detail. Sad. Next I'm going to try out the Denon D9200s, which I also have high hopes for. This is Denon's top of the line headphone, so hopefully it doesn't disappoint me like the AWKTs do. Alright. Now granted, I haven't heard the AWAS. I wonder how that one would sound like. But you know, I don't have money to buy every single headphone out there. Okay, these ones are definitely more comfortable than the Audio-Technicas for sure, and also better build quality overall. So except for the wood cups, and I'm not saying this is like, that's a preference thing too, because these also have beautiful Japanese bamboo wood cups too. I just prefer the darker Kokutan wood cups of the AWKTs, but overall build quality and comfort, this one is better than the AWKTs. Like, way more comfortable on my head. It doesn't have these big ear cups like that are very shallow and press up against my ears. These ones, the ear cups are pretty much the same size as their lower end models. So it's actually pretty good. Fits me pretty well. And the build quality overall is better on the Denons. So there's already some things I like better on the D9200s. Alright, now let's check the sound quality. Alright guys, these are really nice headphones. I think overall I do prefer the D9200s to the AWKTs, and I'll tell you why. So when it comes to, let's just go over all the different categories. First of all, the comfort, these are way more comfortable headphones than the AWKTs. It comes to build quality, these are actually better build quality than the AWKTs as well. And the appearance, I like the Kokutan wood cups a bit better, but that's a preference thing. Some people might like the Japanese bamboo, especially the fact that it has some texture to it, whereas these are a little bit too smooth. So yeah, that's more of a preference thing. Then the sound quality, soundstage wise, the D9200s has more soundstage. Not like a lot more, but definitely has a noticeably wider soundstage, especially in the mids compared to the AWKTs. When it comes to the highs, I think the AWKTs has better highs, so a little bit more forward and more detailed. When it comes to the mid-range, so like I said, the AWKTs has a very pronounced upper mid-range detail and upper mid-range clarity. The D9200s doesn't have that, but it does have a very detailed mid-range. Just across the board, like lower mids, upper mids, everything is detailed, but they're not pushed forward like they are on the AWKTs. The AWKTs have a forward upper mid-range, which is detailed, but it's like, it might be too forward for some people, so it might sound a little bit fatiguing to some people because they're so forward. But the D9200s don't have that forward mid-range. It just has a more flatter, detailed mid-range. So these are better for people who prefer just have a more reference, like balanced sounding headphone. So the AWKTs are not balanced. These are for people who want to have the upper mids, like female vocals and everything, pushed forward, and the highs pushed forward a little bit. So these are definitely a bright sounding headphone, and the Denons are also bright sounding, but not as bright sounding as the AWKTs. These are just, they're more balanced sounding headphones. And then when it comes to the bass, there is no contest. The D9200 has way better bass. Is not even close. Like I said, the AWKT's bass is honestly disappointing, especially for this price. Like for $1,900 US, I expect to have at least, you know, some sort of bass that, you know, it should be better than my lesser headphones and stuff in some way, right? But they're not. Like, it doesn't have the bass extension, nor does it have the punch, doesn't have the slam. The bass here is just, yeah, it's barely, like, it's anemic almost. So yeah, I don't know like what happened there, but with the D9200s, the bass is definitely there. Now it's not pushed up too much or anything like that. It's just, it's present and it has a lot of detail. So yeah, the D9200 is just way better bass. A better bass, like more detailed, more extension. Now, compared to my D7200s is where it's interesting, because the D7200s has more bass quantity than the D9200s. Let me just take a listen on these again, so I can just do a A-B comparison here. Yeah, so it's as I remembered. So the D7200 versus the D9200. The D7200 has more bass quantity, although the bass quality is very similar between the two. They both have really good bass. It's just that D7200 has more of it. So if you're a bass head, you'll like the D7200s more, basically. It's just the bass quality of both is the same. It's a very detailed bass, which I like. There's a lot of slam in these bass, but just the D7200 has more quantity of it. The mid bass, there's just more of it here. When it comes to the mids and highs, so highs, pretty similar. Neither of these have really nice highs, honestly. And that's where Audio-Technica shines, because both of these Audio-Technica headphones, the AP2000 Ti's and AWKTs, have better highs than the Denons. Mid-range, the D9200 has better mid-range. It's just more detailed across the board. So that's pretty much my comparison of the two. Pretty much the only way the D72 is better is in bass quantity. But in every other way, this is a more balanced sounding headphone compared to D7200, which has the bass pushed up. And these ones are, they're more detailed on the mids. So yeah, overall, I would say that unless you're a bass head, you probably prefer the D9200s because they're more detailed mids, a wider soundstage, and yeah, just it's a more balanced sounding sound. Now, if you like your bass, then D7200s is good, but it's just the mids are not as detailed. So yeah, that's pretty much my conclusions about all these different Japanese headphones. None of them is really perfect. So for $1,600 MSRP, yeah, that's also a tough sell for the D9200s, right? Like, I would get this on discount, but I wouldn't pay full price for these either. But at least I think it's a better deal than the AWKTs. The AWKTs are just flat out disappointing for the price. Honestly, I don't know what Audio-Technica was thinking. They're not even comfortable. Like, at the very least, you can make your headphone as comfortable as your lower tier headphones. Like the AP2000 Ti's, a lower tier Audio-Technica headphone is more comfortable. This is just not comfortable to wear, and you would think with these large drivers they'd be able to do something with it, but it doesn't even have bigger soundstage. So I don't know what Audio-Technica was thinking with the AWKTs. It's honestly very disappointing to me. D9200s, now I wouldn't pay the full retail price either, but at least they have a pretty nice sound to them that I wouldn't, definitely that can compete above the $1,000 price range, I'd say. Whereas these, I think these ones don't really compete above the $1,000 head price range. So yeah, it's unfortunate. And out of these two, the D9200s versus the AWKTs, I would take the D9200s. Yeah, just unless you really like the highs of the AWKTs and the upper mid-range, that's the only reason I can see you go for this. And of course, maybe you like the darker wood cups, which I do like. But in every other way, the D9200s I would prefer. The mids are more balanced. The mids, like overall more detailed, I would say on the 9200s, as a bigger soundstage, and it has way better bass. So yeah, that's pretty much my conclusions out of all these. So if you were to ask me which one of these Japanese headphones to get overall, I would say in terms of value, the Fostex TH610s is really good. It's just that it's a bit sibilant, but if you can tame the sibilance a bit, these are actually really nice all-around headphones. They're very balanced sounding, and compared with the D9200s, I would say that the mid detail is pretty close between the two, and yeah, the D9200s has better bass, but the mid detail is pretty close. So the mids are pretty close between the two. In terms of the highs, pretty comparable, and then just the D9200 has better bass. So yeah, really you're paying, this is $700, this is $1,600, so you're paying double the price just for better bass, essentially. But yeah, in terms of the price, I think the TH610s is really good, especially if you like your mids, because this is mid-forward. So if you really like your vocals and your guitars and whatever, you want your mids to stand out, the Fostex TH610 has very wide, thick, detailed mids. Just if you can tame down the sibilance a bit. And I know the bass isn't the best on these, but at least it's better than the AWKTs. And then if you like your highs, if you're a treble head, then the AP2000 Ti's has probably the most detailed and It has the most clarity out of any headphone that I have. So the highs on this has very airy, sparkling highs. So if you like your highs, go for the AP2000 Ti's. Now the problem with this one is that the bass isn't that great, and the mids are just okay. I mean, they're not that super detailed or anything. So basically this headphone is just for the highs. If you like your highs, then go for the AP2000 Ti's. But it's not a very well balanced headphone because of that. Very specialized headphone, but not very balanced. And then, yeah, I would say overall D9200s is probably the best in terms of overall sound quality. Yeah, just the mids are very detailed as the Fostex TH610s, but it has better bass than the Fostex TH610s. It has the bass quality of the Denon D7200s, but it has more detail than the Denon D7200s in the mids. So overall, this is a very good headphone. Probably my pick out of all these for an overall best headphone. It's just the highs could be better on this. I wish it had the highs of the AP2000 Ti's. That's the only thing, or the highs of the AWKTs, but yeah, that's the only problem with this one. But it has everywhere else the best soundstage out of all these. The mid detail tied with the Fostex TH610s. The bass detail and the bass extension is tied with the D7200s. Overall, my pick for the best headphone out of all these Japanese headphones is the Denon D9200s. Yeah, that's pretty much my conclusion. And if you don't have the money for these, because I know these are expensive, they're not discounted very often unless you go to Japan, then I would recommend the Fostex TH610s because the mid detail on these are really good for the price. Like these are pretty much like better than the AWKTs, which are like, these are $1,900 headphones. The mid detail is better on the $700 Fostex TH610s. So really good value for this one. So I think that's my recommendation. And if you're a bass head, then the Denon D7200s, because it has a lot of bass quantity without being like overwhelming. So it's not like the Fostex TH900s or anything. It's not overwhelming amount of bass, but it's there, and it's a lot of the best bass quantity out of all these. So definitely has the most bass out of all the headphones here. If you like your highs, if you're a treble head, then the AP2000 Ti's. So and the AWKTs, I have a hard time recommending these to anyone. If you really like your upper mid-range and your female vocals, and if you really want it to be forward, then sure, the AWKTs. And if you like your dark wood Japanese headphones, then yeah, but it's a really hard recommendation for the AWKTs for anything, honestly. Alright, so my overall summary and conclusion on all these high-end Japanese closed-back headphones. I would say overall my recommendation is the Denon D9200s because it has as good mid detail as the Fostex TH610s, which means it probably has the best mid detail out of all these headphones, and it has the bass quality of the Denon D7200s, which has really good bass. The only thing it doesn't really have, actually it has the best soundstage out of all of them too, and it's very comfortable. The only thing it doesn't have is the clarity and the highs of the AP2000 Ti's or the AWKTs. But that's, you know, no headphone's perfect, but that's really the only thing missing from this headphone. Overall, this is still my recommendation out of all these. Now, if you're a bass head, if you like your bass, then the Denon D7200s is nice. It has the most bass quantity out of all these. It has the most bass. The quality is still very good of the bass, and it's not overwhelming like it is on the Fostex TH900s. So you still get your fairly balanced sound, you just have more bass quantity on this one. So if you're a bass head, recommend the Denon D7200s. And if you're a treble head, if you like your highs, then I recommend the Audio-Technica AP2000 Ti's. These ones have the best clarity, the most sparkling, airy highs out of any headphone that I have. But yeah, it's pretty much a specialized headphone because the highs are really just the only strength it has. It's very comfortable, I guess. Yeah, it's actually, yeah, these and the Denons are pretty much the same in comfort. And these also fold up, I guess, which is nice for traveling. But yeah, the highs are pretty much the key point of this headphone. It's a very specialized headphone in that sense. And then the Fostex TH610s is my recommendation if you want to have the best value out of all these Japanese headphones. This one will give you the best detail for the money here, because the mid detail here is as good as the Denon D9200s, and also it's better than the rest of the other headphones here, and it's about $700. So it has better mid-range detail than the it just has a better mid-range overall than the Audio-Technica AWKTs, and these are $1,900. These are $700. So the Fostex TH610 is a really good value, and I actually think this is my favorite Fostex. I like it better than the TH900s because this is more balanced sounding. The tuning of the TH900s is very V-shaped, which, you know, that a lot of people like or dislike, but this one is a more balanced sounding headphone, and the mid-range is probably the best I've ever heard on any of the closed back headphones I own. So yeah, for the $700, the Fostex TH610s are my pick out of all these for the price. Yeah, for $700, I mean, you're paying what, $1,600? You're paying double the amount for the D9200s just for better bass, essentially. But if you care about your mid-range, you want your you like your vocals, you like your guitars to stand out. These are a bit mid-forward, and that's really good. Like the soundstage for the mids is wide and it's very detailed and thick. Then go for the Fostex TH610s. And then the AWKTs, it's hard for me to recommend these on anything, honestly. I mean, especially for $1,900. Like, unless you really like your dark wood Japanese headphones, or you like your upper mid-range to be really pushed up, then yeah, I can't really recommend these to anyone. Like, if you really like your upper mid-range, your female vocals, and you really want them to stand out, then sure, you can go for these. But I honestly think that for the price, these are really disappointing. So anyways, that's my conclusion. Let me know what you guys think. I'm going to have a sound comparison test between all these in a bit, so you guys can hear the differences maybe. But yeah, that's pretty much my summary conclusion. I would pick the Denon D9200s out of all these. And if you don't have enough money for the Denons, then my recommendation is the Fostex TH610s. The Audio-Technica AWKTs, even though they retail for more, they seem to be more of a specialized headphone. So they're more for people who really want to have a pushed up upper mid-range, like for female vocals or something, and they want to have a very detailed treble, have lots of treble extension. They are not an all-arounder, so they don't have that much bass in them, and yeah, the lower mid-range is not as focused on as the upper mid-range. So yeah, their tuning is a little bit odd, I think, so it's definitely a headphone I would say definitely try before you buy, because they're not for everyone. And they're also not that comfortable either. I do like the wood cups though. They look really nice, and the box looks nice. But yeah, I cannot recommend them to most people because they're very specialized. The Denon D9200s, on the other hand, are just a general all-around great closeback. Now, I personally prefer the wood cups on the AWKTs more, the darker kokutan wood, but the Japanese bamboo does have more texture to it, so that's nice too. They're more comfortable than the AWKTs, and they have a more balanced sounding sound signature. So they do have a bit of a pushed up, like bass and mids are a bit pushed up, but in general, they're still relatively balanced sounding. They're not pushed up too much, so it's done tastefully. Denons in general, I find, have better bass than Audio-Technicas do, although Audio-Technicas focus more on the highs. And yeah, just as an all-around headphone, I think the D9200s are a much easier recommendation from me. The weakest point of the D9200s are probably the highs. They're just okay. They're not like, they don't have the clarity of Audio-Technica's highs. But, you know, overall, I think that the D9200s are a better all-arounder. And just in general, I think most people will be satisfied with that headphone. Just very detailed all around. Whereas the AWKTs, just more specialized towards the upper mid-range and the treble, I think. Also, not coincidentally, I'm going to recommend the D9200 and the Fostex TH610s based also on the fact that they are the most balanced sounding headphones out of all these. The rest of these headphones are more specialized, I guess, if you're listening to certain genres. Like I said, the D7200s has a lot of bass, so it's good for music that has a lot of bass, right? A lot of hip-hop or something, or yeah, just electronic music. If you like your bass, then D7200s, that's specialized. AP2000 Ti's, if you want a very dynamic sound, you want to really hear your hi-hats and your cymbals and stuff, then yeah, the AP2000 Ti's, because it pushes up the trebles a lot. You'll definitely hear a more dynamic sound in your music, but it's honestly very specialized as well. AWKTs, it's too forward on the upper mid-range. If you really want your female vocals to stand out a lot, then yeah, go for these. But in general, if you're listening to all genres, if your taste in music is as diverse as me, then you want a more balanced sounding headphone. And yeah, definitely the Fostex TH610s and the Denon D9200s, especially with their detailed mid-range, is going to be the best balanced sounding headphones out of all these. So yeah, that's my recommendation, is these two. Oh yeah, all these headphones I think are pretty comfortable to wear, except for the AWKTs, which is ironic because they're the most expensive. I don't know what Audio-Technica was thinking, but yeah, the rest are pretty comfortable to wear. So, yep. And then yeah, the 7200s and the AP2000 Ti's are just more specialized headphones, depending if you like highs or if you like lows. Yeah, so, and then these are just a disappointment. So yeah, stay tuned for the sound comparison test. Let me know what you guys think, and as always, thanks for watching.